what if you could only ever do 3 exercises ever again as a runner to cover you for injury prevention and strength? Which exercises would you choose? That's the question I asked 3 years ago, back in 2020, and I chose those 3 exercises, shared that on my main channel. I want today to actually review that and update that a little bit, just to kind of improve those exercises and make them a little bit better. So we're going to start out very straightforward with building general leg strength, but also thinking about running form, thinking about how we actually move as runners. We could do squats, very straightforward, but when we're squatting, we've got both legs working in the same way. So it's a very symmetrical exercise, both hips moving into hip flexion as we come down into a squat. Realistically, as we're running, we've always got one leg doing one thing, the other doing the other. So this leg's going back, this leg's driving forwards. We can recreate that with an exercise. In fact, it's the exercise I chose when we did this 3 years ago, which is a split squat. Great exercise for just building general leg strength. It is, however, still a little bit static for my liking. We can turn that into a reverse lunge really easily. So instead of split squat straight up and down, we can start out in this running man type position, drive back, touch down with the toe, bend both knees, bang, back up we come into our running man. Here, we're working again in that action, which is quite similar in some respects to our running form. We're starting to get those hips working in opposite directions, loading up those glutes. I'll show you on the other side. Loading up as I come down, the glutes on the front leg, driving through the heel here to push myself back up, using glutes, hamstrings in particular, on that standing leg. Now, the reason why I drive through at the top here is to really get that effect of, as I drive into flexion here with this hip, it actually helps me get more out of those extensors, even more so, more out of those glutes and hamstrings again, compared to where I would be if I just finished down here somewhere. So we come down, drive the knee through, down, drive the knee through. That is going to take you a heck of a long way when it comes to just building general leg strength as a runner. Now, obviously, strength isn't the end of the story. We've got to think about stability. Back in 2020, I got you doing your kind of typical runner's arabesque type movement here. It's quite a complex movement. It's quite challenging for a lot of runners. It's a big range of motion to control. So what I'd rather actually do is focus in on the stability, focusing on the quality of movement, and take that back a notch into a single leg toe touch. So guess what? We're starting in our good strong position again. But from here, we're simply going to come down, bending at the hip, keeping the back as straight as you can, touching the big toe with the opposite hand, and back up. So if you're standing on the left foot, we're touching the left toe, the left big toe, with the right hand. Slow and controlled. And you'll notice as I come down, this knee stays bent, but it's not a big squatting movement. Okay, so I'm not coming down into a deep squat, well, not deep squat, but you know what I mean, into more of a squatting movement there. It's more of just a soft knee and then a hinge at the hip. The motion is coming from the hip, which means, again, we're loading up glutes and hamstrings, and just like that reverse lunge, at the top, we're driving the knee through and getting plenty out of those, again, out of those glutes. Now, it is more of a more of a stability and neuromuscular control exercise. And from a stability perspective, for a lot of us, it's going to take a bit of building up to. There's actually a 7-day free trial on my website, a 7-day challenge on my website, which then leads into a 7-day free trial of the Bulletproof Runners program, where the challenge is spending a week focusing very consistently on building up the quality of that stability and control in our single leg toe touch. So if you know you struggle with balance, you know you struggle with control for this kind of exercise, do give that a go, do try the challenge. You'll be amazed how quickly across the course of a week that improves. Okay, and then the last exercise, very straightforward this one. Again, first time through we did this 3 years ago, I chose jumping rope. So getting the skipping rope out and building a little bit of ankle stiffness through some low-level plyometrics. We can take it back a step, okay? Build underneath that more dynamic movement. We're building some real strength through those calf muscles. So many of us struggle with recurring calf issues, Achilles issues, plantar fasciitis, lots of the sorts of injuries that come from combined weakness and tightness through those calves. So, very straightforward. Hand on the wall. If I'm right foot on the floor, it's left hand on the wall. It's not about balance and stability, this exercise. You can either go right hand on your hip or hold a dumbbell if you want to progress this. And from there, I simply want you to keep the standing leg straight, and you're going to come up and down, trying to keep that foot, again, nice and straight. We're not turning the toe out at all. We're not rolling the foot outwards like this. Okay, we're looking just to roll through the ball of the foot. Okay, so keeping the foot nicely, evenly distributed with the body weight going through it. We're simply going to work through a set of 20 on each side. You'll find that for some of us, doing 20 in one go on each side, even once through, is a challenge. But if you can get to a point where you're doing 3 sets of 20, slow and controlled, you're doing really well. Okay, that is it for this set of exercises. I'd love to know how you get on with these. Let me know down in the comments. And if you want to know if you're actually managing to use your glutes properly as you're running, okay, the first 2 exercises there were very glute heavy. But if you're actually managing to use them while you're running, check out the video right over here, because this will explain a heck of a lot.